All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in internet world. Welcome to another edition of Golden Independence. It's a glorious day today. It's beautiful. Right here in Bermuda, we are live in the triangle. So, hey, I want to welcome all my new subscribers. First and foremost, welcome to anyone who's new to the channel. Um, if you like what you're seeing, give a thumbs up. It's a free way to contribute to the channel. You know, always take advantage of the free. That's just life, i.e., breathing is free. Take advantage, take note, take heed, right? Your what you see, your senses, those things are free. These things are free, right? We have five senses that we cut off from. We don't leverage our five senses. Yeah, take this channel isn't just about being wealthy. It's about you know everything being wealthy. The body being wealthy, the body being able to fight off uh, any negativity, negative impact. Because if you're not healthy, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not healthy, how can you even enjoy the wealth? So, a little food for thought in this early morning, and it's some major news. It's like every day, every day, every day, every day, right? And you don't really hear me talking about a lot of news, but this one title in particular, you're gonna hear me talk several times because it's so heavy. We cannot allow this news to go over our heads. And I'm going to take this time to really hash out, get across what this means, right? Over the next couple of videos, right? I'm gonna like it's gonna be a segment. I'm gonna do like at least 10. I'm doing at least 10 videos, man. That's my goal. I hope you guys are enjoying the titles too, right? My goal is to get 10, is to make 10 around this one bit of news. So because I want you guys to get to know how important this is and how major this is, how massive this is, right? Regarding the opportunity that's here, not coming here. And that is the ability to convert your fiat money into the world's greatest asset of store of wealth in our lifetime, in our era, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now being recognized, ladies and gentlemen, as digital gold. It's being recognized. Even Peter Schiff said a few videos ago. Even Peter Schiff has conceded to Bitcoin being digital gold. He tweeted it. It's in writing. You can go check that out. So therefore, those who know, this is called golden independence, and we are in the digital age. And you've heard me say this before. Go after the one asset, and then you could play with all the rest of the opportunities, right? Warren Buffett just holds on to major assets, one company. He held on to one company and leveraged that to purchase other companies. That's what ascertains his wealth. We can do the same thing by being our own banks. by converting our fiat currency, which we trade our time and sweat equity for, converting that to store, not just store, but we'll be able to purchase time. We'll be able to buy back our time that was taken from us from the current traditional system. Because 20 years of wealth is about to be wiped out real soon. But you don't have to be there. You don't have to be wallowing and fighting in the streets and putting placards up about, minimum wage. You're not going to be in that crowd. If you're watching this, you're not going to be in that crowd. You're not even going to hear that. That's going to be noise. It'll be noise. It'll be entertainment. It'll be something that you see passing by a cafe in your travels. That was something that you'll see in Dubai. You know what I mean? That's something that we will see. But we won't be a part of. Why? Because we would have already done what we had needed to do to be on the other side of the fence, as Robert Kiyosaki talks about the cash flow quadrant, the I. We'll be on the I side. He even says get to the I because with the I, it's super leverage because you're getting an income from companies and income. We call these things income producing assets, and we're gonna get into income producing assets. But right now, I want to launch the discussion going a deep dive without even saying deep dive because people put these things deep dive as if they know. They actually put deep dive in the title and they just have the one video and thinking that everybody's gonna tune in to that one video, right? And that's supposed to be the end all be all. That's the deep dive, right? I believe the deep dive is having many titles, but we're talking and discussing the actual subject because the many titles will give different angles. It'll connect with somebody else's brain because we all think differently. You may not get this title. You might catch the next title, but the conversation, the topic is going to be the same. Vocabulary is extremely important for effective communication. And because I know that my channel is international, well, I have a very large audience. I have a larger audience. So when you see me do a lot of videos, it's because I have a wide range of audience. I have people from South Africa, people from Asia watching. I have people from Australia watching. So different sets of news is going to affect different people depending on their culture, depending on their location. Now, this information right now, it impacts the entire world, the international setting, right? And it correlates, interlocks with all of the main talking points, especially one of the main talking points that you've heard me talk about as well, which is another reason why I'm choosing to do a deep dive with this bit of news. Stay to the end. Watch this space because we are about to take off. The news that's out, very, very recent, extremely recent. is that a new Bitcoin ETF has been launched and is now trading. Yes, I know we have heard of other Bitcoin ETFs, yeah, like BlackRock and iBit, right? We've heard of these other ETFs. What, and you may be asking yourself or wanting to ask me, what makes this Bitcoin ETF so different? And I'm glad you asked. Well, like I said, I have many people watching this. So I have to speak as if some of you know and some of you don't. So for those who do know and are catching up and do engage, what makes this Bitcoin ETF extremely different is that it gives us, the retailer, the everyday individual, the opportunity to get exposure to what Michael Saylor is doing. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. The new Bitcoin ETF that has recently, very recently, extremely recently been launched gives the everyday person who has access to a money account with their bank, their brokerage account. If you have access to a brokerage account or to a money account, yeah, this Bitcoin ETF gives you exposure to what Michael Saylor of Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, is doing. Okay, okay. So, for those of you who are just watching this video, you may be asking yourself, well, who is Michael Saylor and what is he doing? And for those people who have just joined us in this space, I'm glad you asked. And welcome. Michael Saylor became Bitcoin famous, crypto famous, from being one of the first individuals of buying Bitcoin to add to his balance sheet back in 2019, 2020, when Bitcoin was still approximately $9,000. That's when Michael Saylor got orange pilled. That's around the time when he was orange pilled and started buying something because buying into Bitcoin because he had to do something different. From 2020, or from whenever he started to purchase, right? And he used his company to do it. Yeah, he got something for himself, but he used his company to do it. So he set up the infrastructure in order for his company to do it. And by doing, and how he did it was through BlackRock. See, all of that information is coming out now slowly. He's working with BlackRock. He's working with BlackRock. He has shares in BlackRock. BlackRock is the second largest shareholder of micro strategy, now known as strategy. BlackRock is the second largest shareholder, right? Because of what Michael Saylor is doing now currently with his company strategy through his company strategy is creating convertible bonds, right? To purchase, raising debt, interest free, interest free debt to purchase Bitcoin. That's what he's doing, or that's what he was doing. Now that he has this fame, right? And now the market cap of his company went through the roof because Bitcoin went from 10,000, 9,000 to where we have almost 100,000. That's 10x. He saw it. So, with that being said, fast forward, long story short, now he's kind of like the poster boy for Bitcoin and orange pilling people and governments and companies and sovereign funds alike. And he's like the internet face and space for Bitcoin. If you want to fast track, if you want to fast track your Bitcoin education from, I'm talking like Bugatti level, at Bugatti speed, like, then you need to follow Michael Saylor, research Michael Saylor, YouTube Michael Saylor, ask ChatGPT about Michael Saylor. Whatever AI you want to ask about Michael Saylor, go ahead. You do that. And if that doesn't orange pill you in to the space, then hey, I guess I'll see you amongst the people with the placards saying, minimum wage. We need minimum wage. We need equal, right? Okay, cool. So, in his ingenuity and financial creativity, strategy has now created a Bitcoin ETF. And this Bitcoin ETF allows the everyday person to gain exposure to what he is doing. You're gaining exposure to it. Now, this fund holds uh, other companies, that also do what Michael Saylor is doing. So, because when one does it and it becomes successful, you're going to get copycats, right? Other companies are doing what Michael Saylor is doing. So these companies go into this fund. They're doing the very same thing. They're raising, I believe it's called Bitcoin treasury companies, right? Bitcoin treasury companies. So they raise debt, interest-free debt. This is how it goes. They raise interest-free debt to purchase Bitcoin, and they hold it. They purchase Bitcoin just to add to the balance sheet, so they're holding it. Now watch this. Watch this. Now watch this. This is some genius. This is genius corporate manipulation, right? Or of onboarding, of onboarding. This is some serious Trojan horse weaving going on. So companies that are added to this fund, to this Bitcoin ETF fund, they have to have an allocation. They must have this. We're talking rules and regulations. They must have an allocation of 10, sorry, 15% or more. So the percentage of their assets under management. So whatever the amount, so if there are 100 million, if for example, if they're $100 million company, they have to have 15% with assets under management. They have to have 15% of that. They have to have 15% or more worth of Bitcoin. 15% of that has to be Bitcoin to be a part of this fund. To be a part of that fund, they have to have 15% or more allocation into Bitcoin. And guess what? Not only can the everyday person uh, purchase the ETF, we all know that companies and corporations can also acquire the ETFs. Now, because the corporations can purchase the ETFs, guess what else they can do? They can also be a part of the fund. See, if they don't want to be a part of the fund, they could just purchase the ETFs, which is still helping the system because every time they purchase the ETFs, the company, the fund is going to acquire Bitcoin. The fund itself is purchasing Bitcoin through the ETF, through that exchange. Yes, every time you purchase that ETF, they said 80% of the fund, right? So 80% of the profits that come from the ETF are going right back into purchasing more Bitcoin. 80%. 80% is going into purchase of the profits are going into purchasing more Bitcoin. Because we all know, right, that we know where the 20% is going. The other 20% is in fees. But the 80%, ladies and gentlemen, is being distributed to the people. Right? Do you know what that is going to mean for those who are already positioned in acquiring Bitcoin and Satoshis already? For those who are hodling Satoshis, this is this is major. This right here is the match, lighting the lighting the rope to the dynamite. This is the match that's lighting the, yes, that's lighting that fire to that stick of dynamite. Ooh, we are going to get such an explosion. These centillionaires are going to be numerous. There's going to be a massive wealth building, and it's massive opportunity, massive potential, but not too many people are aware of it or even understand it. Congratulations to those who do understand it, who heard the call, and you position yourselves. Your children's children are gonna love you. and remember you because you set them up. Because you set them up. Yes, we are going to be remembered for several generations with this opportunity. All we got to do is hold on to the asset, be mindful of the asset, protect the asset, protect your Bitcoin, protect your Satoshis, right? But it's not just about the Satoshis. Hey, we gotta get involved with everything Bitcoin when it comes to being an investor. Going back to the cash flow quadrant of Robert Kiyosaki, to become an investor, okay, where we have our Satoshis, we could start thinking of how can we earn Bitcoin, how can we earn Satoshis, creating businesses to acquire Satoshis, trading goods and services for Satoshis, and then investing in similar companies. So if we're diversifying into multiple things that are acquiring one thing, right? So we're not investing in companies. We're not investing mining companies with other metals. No, not doing that's gambling. See, that's gambling. I'll invest in a company that's making T-shirts and only Bitcoin only companies, where the whole operation is Bitcoin. They don't take any cash, Bitcoin or crypto. Where when companies start operating like that, I'm buying their stocks. I'm buying their stocks. A certain company starts only Bitcoin only, doing transactions in Bitcoin only throughout the whole supply chain. You could only get these goods and these food products via Bitcoin only. Imagine the most healthiest things and the entire food chain, Bitcoin only. You could only get this Bitcoin. That's right. When you go to the store, you could only cash out in Bitcoin. Y'all gotta have your Bitcoin wallet. That's coming. Satoshis. When things start being priced in Satoshis. And for those of us who are locked and loaded to the project BitHarvest, check it out, bitharvest.io. If you're already locked in and you see how many Satoshis are being mined on a daily basis, when the price of Bitcoin starts to go up, that dollar, the one Satoshi being $1, is going to keep going back and back and back, which is going to make us um, very, very, very free, very free. Well, just wanted to share a segment because I don't want to overwhelm you guys because it is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. But this is why we're going to break this down over the next couple of days with how important this news is. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the revolution. Bless up.